Maintaining Classroom Discipline. Alternate title, High School Bad Girls.
The vast majority of behavior problems in the classroom involve minor breaches of discipline.
By this guy. Looks like a young Brad Garrett.
These incidents frequently originate in the classroom situation itself and are within the control of the teacher. Disciplinary problems in the classroom are symptoms of underlying weaknesses in total learning situations.
Mr. Franklin, he threw a chunk of Gouda at me.
Mr. Grimes, mathematics teacher,
Frank Grimes,
is
Homer's enemy?
displeased with the progress of his 9th grade class in mathematics.
Watch as he kills them.
You see what low grade you made on your weekly mathematics test? More than half of you failed.
That's almost 30%.
Most of those who passed just got by. Nobody had 100%.
That's because the chalkboard's in the back of the
The
room.
poorest class I've had in a long, long time. Most of you have no foundation at all.
You modular punks.
Now the trouble's with your attitude.
And your
You
helmet
don't
hair.
pay enough attention in class. You don't do enough work outside.
Hey, she's
it.
cute.
You don't know what the word study means. You haven't the slightest idea.
Aber Sie sprechen
Don't you
nicht
realize that
English.
mathematics is an important subject? I tell you right now that unless you get over your lazy habits and come up to the standards I've set for this class, many of you will have the pleasure of repeating this course next semester.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what is it?
A note from Dr. Williams.
About the stick up your butt, sir. Sorry you are unable to have a sex change due to your psychological...
I have to leave for a few minutes. Now I want you to open your books and work out correct solutions of the problems you missed.
Never forgetting for a moment that I hate you. For these kids, this is partying down. It's Eddie Munster.
I can't make any sense out of this. I might as well quit. Gee, he never even took up this third problem. It's a jib.
Sheesh, are they drugging the tater tots in this school?
Scared to death. I'll just never pass this course. What's the use of taking this stuff anyway? I'm afraid to take my paper home.
But then I'm also afraid of light bulbs.
The trouble is, you don't know what the word study means.
Fred Travellina, ladies and gentlemen. Fred Travellina.
Idea.
Oh, try
What's this?
Where am I?
What kind of behavior do you call this?
Goofy.
Wait a minute, you stay where you are. This is the kind of behavior I might have expected of you.
See?
All I do is leave the room for a few minutes, and what do I find? Confusion, disorder.
Mutiny.
And you, what were you doing?
I was just going...
To
Going
stall
what?
my line.
Throw the eraser, I suppose. It's a good thing I caught you. I'll make an example out of you.
I'll find your square
But
root.
That's enough out of you. Leave this room and report to the principal's office immediately. Well, hurry up. Don't
This
take
is
all
actually
day.
a very accurate portrayal of math teachers in my experience.
Who did that? All right, since you think it's so funny,
I'll put panties on my head.
the whole class can stay in for 45 minutes this afternoon. Then you'll see how funny it is. Remember, the whole class is to report back here at 4 o'clock. Now, where were we?
You were spewing vitriol, sir.
Okay, I'm marking a newspaper out
I'm
today.
inducing puberty
I
later
got
today.
football practice. He can go fly a kite.
Boys,
I have
language.
a piano lesson. I can't miss it. I think he's horrible.
Stop that whispering.
And stop that cellular mitosis.
Mr. Grimes did not have a happy time of the week.
Whoa. The plaid vest really needs to make a comeback.
Who dropped that book?
Geesh, the Gestapo were easygoing compared with this guy. Oh, I think we're about to witness a conniption.
All right, I'll wait till you're quiet.
There. Very good. Thank you. It's dressed like teacher day at Arlington High.
Many of you failed to hand in your homework yesterday. Now, you know that... What is this? Stop that noise.
So is this guy senile or what?
2 detentions. 3 detentions.
78
Leave this room and
detentions.
don't come back until you're ready to apologize to me.
Well, this is going to get us nowhere.
So why are we watching
Maybe
it?
we'd better go back to see if we can't find some of the causes of this undesirable learning situation.
It all started with the birth of Mr. Grimes.
Just what was Mr. Grimes' purpose in making such statements as these?
This is the poorest class I've had in a long, long time.
Poverty-stricken little hooligans.
This is hardly the way to win friends or influence people.
Huh?
You don't know what the word
Leave
study
alone.
means. You haven't the slightest idea.
Might not be a bad idea to show 'em how.
He's going to play a drum solo.
I tell you right now that unless you get over your lazy habits and come up to the standards I have set for this class, many of you will have the pleasure of
Bogus.
repeating this course next semester.
What kind of motivation is this? To what does it lead?
The trouble is, you don't know what the word study means. You haven't the slightest idea.
A great scene is worth another look.
This reaction is the answer. It was the result of Mr. Grimes' provocative remarks. Now take this.
And cram it.
It's a good thing I caught you. I'll make an example out of you.
Oh, come now, Mr. Grimes. By taking it out on the boy, aren't you covering up a symptom of your own deficiency?
Reward those who mock you.
Who did that?
Yes, who did? Some boy, probably.
Hey!
But the chances are it summarizes the feelings of the group.
Yes, they all think.
There is an unwritten code covering such situations. Why try to buck it?
Bucket.
All
Buck
right,
you,
since
pal.
you think it's so funny. The whole class can stay in for 45 minutes this afternoon.
I love this part.
Mass punishment is a dangerous weapon and doesn't work too well.
Find ways to individually
2
humiliate them.
detentions. 3 detentions.
Get me the scoop
Leave
on
this room and
Rosebud.
don't come back until you're ready to apologize to me.
It's a long way to the end of the term. When will this end?
Excellent question.
Thus, what should have developed into a sequence of pleasant and valuable learning experiences had deteriorated into a series of disagreeable and injurious personal tension.
Or some crap.
This is all wrong.
Hey, that's
Did any
injurious.
of these incidents have occurred at all?
Well, good night.
Suppose Mr. Grimes had tried another approach.
Most of you are disappointed in the low grades you made on this test. So am I.
Here's a poem I wrote that expresses
Well,
my
all of you had
feelings
trouble
about
with
that.
that last problem on ratio. Now, perhaps I didn't do a good job explaining ratio.
Hell, I don't even understand ratio
No.
right now.
Ratio is commonly used in everyday life. Mother uses it in the kitchen when she takes a recipe for a big cake and uses proportional amounts of ingredients to make a little cake, or vice versa.
Whoa, it's a
But
stitch in time.
let's suppose a recipe called for 8 cups of flour and 4 eggs. I wanted to make a cake half that size. How much would I use?
All of it and then throw half
Use
out?
4 cups of flour and 2 eggs.
That's right. You boys use it in the shop when you read a blueprint. As you know, a blueprint's merely a scale drawing of something that's usually larger.
Oh,
Suppose I had a blueprint of a
so you
bridge.
should actually
It's
teach
going to be
in a
100 feet
classroom.
wide.
I've got it. Thank you.
But on
Good.
this drawing, the bridge is only 10 inches wide. Now, how many feet would each inch represent?
10 feet.
That's right. Now, that's in ratio. Now, let's see where we made our mistakes.
He's even creepier now that he's nice.
The problem was this.
I'm balding.
What is the ratio between 4.5 yards and 1.5 feet? Now, you looked hurriedly at 4.5 and 1.5, said the answer was 3. Now, that's where you fell into a trap.
My man
What
trap.
you forgot was that before you can divide, you have to reduce all units of measurement to the same unit. Now, what's the unit here?
Do we have to watch this?
That's
I've worked
right.
the last 15 years to forget
By
this
God, I
nonsense.
sure fell for that one.
First of all, let's change 4.5 yards into feet.
Right, etc., etc.
That gives us 13.5 feet.
Great.
And now we can divide 13.5 feet by 1.5 feet.
No one will be seated during the shocking dividing fractions sequence. Well, say what you will, it's still more exciting than any of the Star Wars prequels.
The right answer is 9.
Wow, I see where I made my mistake.
By waking up this morning.
Now, I want you to look over your papers very carefully and see where you made your mistakes. I'll come down the aisles, and if there are any questions, don't hesitate to ask me. Yes?
No, from Dr. Williams.
About your urinary infection.
All right, thank you. I have to leave for a few moments.
I have a urinary
On
infection.
page 15 of your books, the first 3 problems are exactly like number 1 on the test.
Oh, this is
Suppose you do as many
heartwarming.
as you can until I get back.
Oh, and if you don't eat your meat, you can't have any pudding. How can you have any pudding if you don't eat your meat? Ah, the glorious sound of good behavior. Hello?
I get the idea now. I sure messed up my test paper. I'm glad he's going over these questions. I'd never make head or tail out of them otherwise. You know, I'm beginning to get some sense out of this.
See, kids just want to be
I
taught
hope I
some
do better
math.
next time. I'd hate to bring another paper like this home. The way he explains it, it doesn't seem too hard.
Let's all behave from now on, agreed?
Oh, come on, cut it out. I want to do these problems.
Fiction alert, come on.
Oh, let's have some fun while Mr. Grimes is out. Who wants to do these old problems anyway?
Stone him! Why, you're mocking me. How delightful.
Now, you know where that border eraser belongs. That's right, put it there.
Grimes sure caught him in the act. Old Grimes is a pretty good egg.
These teens talk like my grandma. Now, is this injurious tension?
That's more like it.
That's an excellent caricature of me. Good job.
Now you're getting it. Let's see if you can do the next one.
Classroom control and learning efficiency are products of good teaching.
Boy, howdy.
Learning must be made meaningful. Interest in work for which learners see a purpose provides its own discipline.
Oh, narrator, you've such a way with
But in
words.
spite of interest and meaning, it must be remembered that some incidents will occur.
Involving Kiefer Sutherland.
Skill in handling such occurrences prevent their growth into problems.
Oh, that was a pretty good catch. For a moment, I thought you'd miss.
I'm sorry, but I owed him the apple.
Well, I guess a fellow's expected to pay his debts. I'd suggest, though, in the future you do your baseball practicing outside of class.
Not since Robin Williams and Dead Poets Society.
A friendly attitude with a sprinkling of humor goes a long way toward winning the regard and cooperation of the class.
Mm-hmm.
For respect is a more desirable molder of behavior than fear.
You watching this, Pentagon?
The development of mutual understanding between teacher and pupils will help eliminate disciplinary problems.
You know, it's really interesting to see what school was like back before this movie ended all disciplinary problems. What is this, the long goodbye? End already.